All right, let's tackle a massive question today. Could AI, artificial intelligence, actually be our crystal ball for the next big financial crisis? Could it be the thing that stops it before it even starts? Let's dive in. To really get what's at stake here, we have to look past all the numbers and the charts. We have to remember the people. The Great Depression, the 2008 crisis. These weren't just some blips on a screen. No, these were events that absolutely wiped out life savings, that shuttered family businesses, that really, truly reshaped entire generations. So it really makes you wonder, right? If the kind of AI we have today existed back then, could a machine have actually seen the 2008 collapse coming? Could it have sounded the alarm bells before all the damage was done?
Okay, so to even begin to answer that, we first have to understand why we keep getting caught by surprise. See, the big problem with traditional economics, it's kind of like trying to drive a car forward while only looking in the rearview mirror. You only see where you've been, not where you're going.
And that's pretty much the story for every major crash, isn't it? Whether we're talking about 1929 or the 2008 meltdown, it was always the same deal. The old way of analyzing things, based on historical data, was always looking backward. It just couldn't see all those complex, tangled-up risks that were piling up in real time, not until the whole thing was already coming down around our ears.
Just look at how quickly things completely fell apart in 2008. It started with something that seemed small, a rising number of defaults on these risky home loans, the so-called subprime mortgages. But then, boom, the housing bubble bursts. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, a giant, like Lehman Brothers, just collapses. It wasn't one thing. It was a cascade, a total chain reaction that sent these massive shockwaves through the entire global system.
So right at the heart of that 2008 crisis was this thing called a credit crunch. And the analogy here is perfect. It's basically a giant traffic jam for money. Once the trust was gone, poof, banks just got too scared to lend, not to each other, not to businesses. The whole flow of money that our economy relies on, it just seized up, froze solid.
But what if you could see that traffic jam forming before it happens, in real time? Well, this is exactly where the AI revolution steps in. It's offering up, a fundamental upgrade to how we look at our economies.
Okay, so this is the real game changer. Think about it. The old models, they're always playing catch-up. They're built on data that's already old news by the time they get it. But AI models, they're different. They're alive. They're constantly drinking in real-time information. They learn from it, they adapt. And crucially, they can spot those super subtle, complex patterns that are just, invisible to us.
So where does AI get this superpower? Well, it comes from a whole new universe of data. And some of this stuff is wild. Think about it. Instead of waiting months for some official report, an AI can look at satellite images of factory parking lots tonight and tell you how busy they are. It can track literally every single container ship on the planet to map out global trade in real time. It can even figure out the mood of the market just by analyzing the sentiment of millions of social media posts. It's like having a live EKG hooked up to the entire global economy.
And look, this isn't just some theory or a cool idea for the future. This is happening right now. The biggest financial players on the planet are already using this new toolkit. So let's look at a few examples of this AI in action.
All right, first up, JP Morgan's AI, it's called LOQXM. So picture this, a huge investor needs to sell a massive block of stock. If they just dump it all at once, they'll spook the market and the price will tank. Well, LOQXM looks at billions, with a B, of past trades to figure out the absolute best way to break up that giant order into smaller, smarter pieces. It executes the trade without causing those big disruptive ripples. And the crazy part? It's not just fast, it's constantly learning and getting better.
Then there's BlackRock's Aladdin. And this thing is a beast. Seriously, think of it like the central nervous system for a huge chunk of the financial world. It oversees over $20 trillion in assets. That number is just staggering. And what it does is constantly run simulations. It's stress testing all those investments against millions of possible future scenarios, trying to find the cracks, trying to find the risk before it blows up into a crisis.
And what about Bridgewater? They're the world's largest hedge fund. And there, AI is being woven right into the very fabric of how they make decisions. Their whole goal is to use machines to try and strip out our messy human emotions. That panic that makes you sell at the absolute worst time, or that greed that convinces you to buy right at the peak of a bubble. The idea is to let the AI focus purely on the data without all that noise.
So with all these incredible tools at our disposal, does that mean a financial meltdown is impossible now? Are we safe? Well, as you can probably guess, the reality is a little more complicated. We have to look at both sides of the coin here. AI's amazing potential and its very real, very significant limitations.
Okay, on the one hand, AI is an absolute superhero at spotting weird stuff in the data and modeling risks at lightning speed. But, like any superhero, it has its kryptonite. First, garbage in, garbage out. Its predictions are only ever as good as the data you feed it. Second, it's basically blind to what we call black swan events, those totally unprecedented crises that have literally never happened before. And maybe most importantly, it can't fully grasp the wild, irrational nature of human panic.
And all of this brings us to what might be the most important point of all. The future here isn't about machines taking over from humans. Not at all. It's about a partnership. It's about combining human expertise with the power of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, if you take away just one thing, let it be this. AI is an incredible, revolutionary tool. It gives us a clearer, faster, and more powerful view of financial risk than we have ever had in human history. But at the end of the day, it's a tool. It's meant to augment our judgment, to make us smarter, not to replace us.
Think about it like this. An AI can sound the alarm. It can flash a giant red warning light. It can show you the bubble that's about to burst and even simulate the crash. But a machine can't write new laws. They can't regulate the banks. They can't make those tough, messy political decisions. That responsibility, that still rests entirely on our shoulders.
Which leaves us with one last big question to chew on. We are building these unbelievably powerful tools that can see what's coming with more clarity than ever before. So the real question isn't about the technology. The real question is, are we getting any wiser? When that next warning light flashes, will we have the courage and the wisdom to actually listen?